Hello everybody on YouTube, how you all been? Dragoon here, coming at you all representing Team Trainer Bros with a CardFight Vanguard deck profile today of my current Kaiser Vermilion Narukami deck profile for October 2016. Now for those of you who have been following my channel, Kaiser Vermilion is literally my second favorite deck right here, right behind Kagero the X right now. This deck is just lots of fun. I really enjoy this deck, playing this deck a lot. I just really enjoy playing like the next advanced evolution, so to speak, of Kaiser's Vermilion. And what I really love using this deck right here the most is that I can use my Vanguard's ability for either for free or no cost at all. Right, not free or with very minimum cost at all. So which is just a very powerful ability to have in general. And yeah, I'll be explaining to you all what I'm currently doing with my build over here, just so you all can get a better understanding of what I'm trying to accomplish here. And yeah, with that being said, let's move on straight into the deck profile right now, shall we? Alright, start off with your Forerunner. Start off with the one Lizard Soldier, Sashin. This is still the best Forerunner for right now for me for this deck right here in general. For those of you who do not know what he does, is Counterblast 1. When he's done boosting a unit and that unit's attack is a hit, as long as the attack was a Vanguard, you may pay the cost. If you do, put this guy in your soul, and you can retire any of your opponent's grade zeros. So this is just really great if you want to pick all those annoying Forerunners, because right now in the game, there are a lot of Forerunners that are very annoying right now. And just the sooner you can take out those Forerunners, the better your plays will be, and the better you have when the better situation odds you'll have of being able to have those easier times going for the game when you have that annoying Forerunner out of the picture right there. And next up, for the trigger lineups, for the triggers, we have the obvious 4 heals. No explanation needed what heals are important for, especially when it comes to G Guardians now. And normally when it comes to Vanguard decks, when it comes to Narukami, I used to do 6 critical, 6 draw right here. I decided to switch up a little bit and go pretty much do what most people do, and that is the 4 draw and 8 critical lineup instead of the 6-6 right here. This is much more better, more efficient trigger lineup than the previous trigger lineup right here, because at the time I was kind of lacking the ability to go in that heavy damage, and now by playing this up right here, I can make up for that and actually go in for the heavy crits like I'm supposed to do it. And just having that heavy crit ratio is definitely very important right here, such so you can have in those big huge attacks, especially and while still having the draws to give you the draw power you need. And thanks to striding, where you're able to do 3 dry checks and stuff too, it pretty much makes up for the job of what the draw triggers were originally in there for. So you have just easy access to get into what you need to do the most, while still being able to hit in that heavy damage you want to go in the most right here. So yeah, that's pretty much what we're doing for the trigger lineup right here as of right now. And this guy right here, we're playing 4 of him because he has that ability where you can put him solo your Vanguard while he's in your rear circle to give one of your units 3,000 power. 3,000 is okay, but what's really nice about this is that by having him be put in your soul, you have a card, you have additional option card to soul blast off, because there are going to be some cards that will allow you to soul blast, and that will allow you to do things in exchange of soul blasting as well. So by having more cards in your soul, you'll be able to soul blast more often and do your certain things. And when he's soul blasted, you'll have additional cards to be put back in your deck when you legion and such. And that is it for the grade zeros. Now for the grade 1s, we have 4 copies of the Unflipped Perfect Guard, Dragon Dancer Anandisha. I can never get her name right. Pretty much she's the Protect Order Dragon for Narukami Perfect Guard, and when you have another copy of her in your drop zone, you can unflip 1 damage, which is very useful. Excuse me. Even though this deck is very cheap on cost right now when it comes to counterblasting, just having the ability to unflip damage is always very nice right here, especially considering they are also Perfect Guard as well, which is always very useful in general. And then next up, we play 4 copies of Mighty Bolt Dragoon. Instant Strike, nothing really too special to say about him. And then next up, we play 3 copies of Crown Holder Dragon. This card is just a really nice card in general. As long as your Vanguard is Kaiser, which will always be Kaiser, as long as your Vanguard is grade 3, of course. As long as your Vanguard has the word Kaiser's name, when your attack is a hit, you may choose 2 units. No, 1 of your units, I'm sorry. You may choose 1 of your other units, and that unit will gain 2,000 power. Now, normally that doesn't really seem that good. But for those of you who don't remember how Kaiser Warning-based decks or Kaiser Vermilion decks are normally based upon, Kaiser Vermilion is normally the type of card that allows you to attack the entire front row. So if you're able to get a good, huge, massive amount of hits with your Vanguard, while this card is your rear guard, you can pretty much give some of your rear guards some massive power depending on how things go and how many attacks you end up hitting and how many rear guards you pretty much retire after you attack into them. And this card will potentially give some of your rear guards some massive huge power boost when that goes off. And then next up, we play 2 copies of Rising Phoenix. Soul Blast 2, draw 1. It's really nice right here because this deck is kind of Legion based, and since you are playing cards that allow you, and since you are Soul Blasting, those cards you Soul Blast could potentially go back in your deck when you Legion. So having more recruit targets is always very nice right here. And finally, the 1 copy of Radicator Egglum Dragon, or Eggy as I can call him for short. Nothing really too simple, just a Limit Break enabler for early game. It's all it really is right here and such. You don't really need Limit Break really too oftenly, especially consider the fact that you're going to be more into going your strides more oftenly. Just having Eggy close to you in case you really need a quick Limit Break enabler when you need it real quickly, when you want to go off with your Kaiser Vermilion Warning or your Kaiser Warning Vermilion and Kaiser and all that good stuff. When you want to go off with those abilities, he's really great for those type of things when you want to go off with those things really early. So yeah, he's definitely not a terrible card in general when that goes off. Yeah, excuse me, I had to run and go after my dog for a little bit. That's why I've been stuttering quite a bit. My mistake. And that is it for the grade 1s. Now with the grade 2s. For the grade 2s, we have 4 copies of Voltage Horn Dragon, which is a really nice card in general. GB1, while he's attacking your Vanguard, your opponent's Vanguard, while being boosted by Narukami Rearguard, you may pay the cost. If you do, your opponent chooses one of their own Rearguards that's grade 2 or less, gets retired, and then gets binded, which is a very nice ability in general. While it is your opponent's choice, if you do pick all those annoying front row guys, this card can easily pick all those annoying back row units that you do want to get rid of, and he's just great for those types of scenarios right there. And just the ability where they get binded is really nice because there are those Legion based decks that do want to recruit their stuff back in their decks. There is Genesis that is picking up playing their Dreaming Dragons more oftenly, so this could hurt Genesis a little bit here and there depending, and it just does hurt pretty much anything that revolves recycling, and this also is a good answer to those recycling abilities as well. Next up, we play 4 copies of Dragonic Death Sight. He's pretty much old school Blaster player. Counter Blast 1, 2 when he's placed in Vanguard or Rearguard Circle. Retire any grade 2 or less Rearguard your opponent controls. So again, it's really nice to pick up those annoying Rearguards that your opponent's got going on. And since your Kaiser Warning and Crimson will be playing cheat cost or no cost user abilities, you can pretty much pick off the back rows along with this guy, while your Vanguard takes care of the front row, which is a very nice combo. And again, since you're playing cheap or low cost, you can get away with playing Death Scheme, because Death Scheme will pretty much burn up your damage. So you can pick off those rear guards, while your Kaiser Warning and Vermilion will just pretty much go right to the front row for no cost at all. And finally, for the grade 2s, we have 3 copies of Demonic Dragon Berserker. Nothing really too special about this guy right here. He's still very nice in general. His ability is when he's Rearguard Circle, he cannot attack any units except for the Vanguard, which is also nice because again your Vanguard will normally take care of the front rows regardless, which is no worries at all. While he's attacking the Vanguard, he gains the ability, and of course his Rearguard Circle. While he's attacking the Vanguard, he gains the ability of he'll gain 3,000 power while he's attacking, and if his attack hits, you may Counter Blast 1. If you do, not only you can draw a card, but you can choose another card in your opponent's drop zone to be binded, which is also very nice because, again, as I explained with Voltage Horn Dragon, this hurts a lot of decks that revolves on recycling, and there's a certain Stride unit in my Stride deck that I'll be showing you all very shortly that will take advantage of that, and he'll definitely help that card out very nicely once things go your way. And that is it for the grade 2s. Now for the grade 3s. For the grade 3s, the guy that started this all, of course, 3 copies of Dragoon Kaiser Vermilion. If you do end up riding him and never ride into Kaiser Crimson, it's not the end of the world. You just need him as a Kaiser just so you can go off with your certain card in particular and be able to stride into your warning regardless, and just have a quick 3,000, not 3,000, and just have a quick grade 3 as an additional stride cost pitch when you want to stride. It's always very nice as well. And you are playing Legion if you do ride into Kaiser Crimson, so your Crimson will put this card back as your mate and all that such. And once he's in Legion with with your Crimson, you will be able to use this guy's ability for free and attack the entire front row. But again, if you end up riding into him but never ride into Crimson, he's just great as just your ideal Vanguard to ride into, just so you can still have access to your warning. So he's still a good card in general. And finally, the heart of the deck currently right now, 4 copies of Kaiser Crimson. Legion 22 has made his Kaiser Vermilion. While he's in Legion, you can use the ability of your Legion mate's ability for free without counterblasting. And while this unit is attacking, you may Soul Blast 1 card to give this unit 2,000 power. Now, again, it's not something really that great, but just the fact that you can Soul Blast cards to potentially give this card additional power, while also give yourself additional Legion target to put back in your deck when you Legion again, is still a very useful ability regardless in general. So yeah, it's definitely a very nice card. Just ability we can use. Kaiser Vermilion's ability without counterblasting is still a very powerful ability in general, especially in today's game right here. Just the ability where you can attack into your opponent's entire front row with no cost at all is still a very useful ability in general. And that's it for the main deck. Now for the strides. Your ideal stride for this deck right here. 4 copies of Conquering Supreme Dragon, Dragoon Kaiser Warning. This dude is a absolute beast. His ability is counterblast only 1 card and Persona Flip another card of him. When you do, he can not only attack your opponent's entire front row, but also for every time his attack is a hit, you may choose 2 units to gain 5,000 of your side of the field to gain 5,000 power. So let's say your opponent perfect guards their Vanguard, but they don't block out their 2 rear guards in the front row, and if his attack is a hit, guess what? Your 2 front row units are gonna gain 10,000 power. And that's not even counting how much power they will gain from your Crown Holder Dragon, who they're going to be boosted when they attack, and what you will give them if you give them any power or any ratio such when you go through your triple drive. So this dude is a wrecking beast for very minimum cost in return. He is just a very powerful card. I'm really glad I was able to pick him up when I did. And since we are allowed 16 strides instead of 8, now I can play 4 copies of this bad boy. 4 copies of Conquest Dragon. By just a mere cost of Persona Flip, and that's it. Not only you can retire one of your opponent's front row rear guards, but also all your front row guys will gain 5,000 power for every empty front row circle your opponent has. So if your opponent has no rear guards in front row, this guy along with your front row guys will gain 10k power out of nowhere, while you get the privilege of retiring one of your opponent's rear guards with just a mere cost of flipping one of him over, and that's it. And that right there alone could definitely set some pressure up for your opponent. And the next set, we have 2 copies of Lightning Dragon Knight Zaras. Just there as an additional go-to stride, as the first stride you want to stride into the deck right here. On hit, when attack hits, your opponent chooses one of his or rear guards to be retired, and you choose 2 cards to drop zone to be binded. And again, it also helps out this next stride. And here he is, we're finally here to talk about him. And it has 2 copies of Conquering Supreme Dragon, Full Kaiser Dragon. Now this dude is a wrecking mean machine right here. For those of you who do not know what he does, his ability is, while he's attacking your opponent's Vanguard, he gains 10k power, and so right off the bat he's at least at 3600 regardless if he's being boosted or not. So right off the bat he's already hard to block off unless your opponent perfect guards and all such. And if his attack is a hit, you may counterblast only 1 card, and that's it. And when you do so, for every 2 cards that your opponent has that are binded, you can retire. Your opponent must choose that many rear guards of his or her side of the field to be retired, and they get binded. So if your opponent has, let's say, 6 cards binded, guess what? Say you strike at him only once, guess what? After that, your opponent will have to be forced to retire 3 rear guards, and then the next time you strike at him, that will be, let's say, for example, 9 rear guards binded. And then when he attacks again, your opponent will, and if his attack is hit, your opponent will be forced to bind off at least 4 rear guards, which is just a huge, powerful ability. This can potentially allow you to do some massive field wipe and board wipe as well. This gives you some nice field plays, and this will force your opponent to guard off some massive units just to stop this card off from being able to attack your opponent's Vanguard, which is just ridiculous right there. And for the G Guardians, all we're playing for G Guardians is just 4 copies Lightning Dragon King Emperor, and yeah. Nothing really too special about this guy right here. His ability is if your opponent has at least one card that's binded while his card is placed G Guardian Circle, this unit will gain 5k shield, which is not too bad right here. Oh no, he's not a bad G Guardian, but there are some G Guardians I do prefer playing this deck right here. Like, once I pick out 2 copies of Screwy, I believe his name was, I'll definitely take out two of these guys out, just so I can play into 2 copies of Screwy instead, because the 5000k power can only get you only so far on certain occasions. So he's not bad right now as a 4 of until I get Screwy, but once I get Screwy, I'll definitely take out 2 of these cards out so I can put into 2 copies of Screwy, because I feel like Screwy will definitely be a better choice of card to play over 4 copies of this card right here. And yeah, everybody, that right there was my Kaiser Vermilion deck profile for October 2016. For those, if you all really like that deck profile, for those of you who want to check me out, my name is Christian Dragoon. I do a lot of Yu-Gi-Oh content. I do a lot of Vanguard content. For Yu-Gi-Oh, I do a lot of Yu-Gi-Oh Dragons. That involves deck profiles, duels. I also do pack and tin openings. I also do card reviews on that channel as well. And I also do pretty much the same thing for Vanguard as well, on that channel as well, where I pretty much do exactly for CardFight Vanguard, only except still just Dragons. I play Kagero and Narukami. And what I do for Yu-Gi-Oh! Dragons, I pretty much do the same thing for Kagero and Narukami for CardFight Vanguard. So I'll leave a link in the description down below for those of you who want to check out that channel. And I'm also planning on starting a gaming channel. I do have that channel up, but I haven't started any gaming yet. For those of you who want to check out that channel, and you all want to see my gaming channel in the near future, I'll leave a link in the description of that channel as well for those of you who want to check that channel out. And with that being said, thank you all for watching, and I hope you all enjoyed, and I'm out. Peace.